Hello, everybody, and welcome to Future Friday. Yes, I'm back for this Friday. I'm happy to be back filming some cars, and today we're going to be talking about a very exciting new EV on a very popular luxury three-row, the all-new Cadillac Escalade IQ. So let's go ahead and dive into the details.
So the Cadillac Escalade, of course, is a luxury SUV that really needs no introduction. It is the king of the segment. It has dominated for really a long time at this point, and it continues to do so in 2023. But Escalade IQ, what is that? Well, that's be the upcoming electric version of the Escalade, since all of their electric products, Cadillac's electric products, end with IQ, signifying that they're electrified. They just kind of tacked on IQ for this one instead of calling it the Escalade.
Yeah, but the big news here is that Cadillac said that the Escalade IQ is going to be revealed by the end of this year. So that doesn't mean it's going to be available for sale, but it will be revealed by the end of this year. So you'll be able to see what it looks like, all the range, and all the figures on it. So what we're going to be doing today is looking at some renderings that are very realistic to what it might look like, as well as talking about some different powertrain specs and what type of range you might expect to find on this Escalade IQ.
So let's start off here with the official spy shots. So Motor Authority actually captured the Escalade IQ out testing recently and got some pretty good shots of it. Of course, it is very camouflaged, but there are still some things that we can discern from it. So I think one of the big things that we're noticing here is just that things look a little bit smoother and more sloped off than the traditional Escalade. I kind of want to draw your attention to the rear area. You can see right down through there, that's kind of a sloped back design. We're expecting that this is going to be a lot more aerodynamic than the totally boxy Escalade shape, the traditional shape that is. And here with this spy shot, I think General Motors is basically disguising this. We have this kind of fake looking box shape here on the back, but I think they're just trying to psych people out and cover up what's going to be a more sloped rear end design.
Yeah, so what do we actually think it's going to look like? Let's go ahead and get into the renderings. This is what we think the Escalade IQ might look like. Like Drew said, this is not just an Escalade with a battery strapped on it. It's going to have some different design elements. I mean, quite frankly, a big giant box three-row SUV is hard to have good range, so they are going to have to smooth some elements off, probably to get the range figures that we're wanting to see out of a modern EV.
Right. And of course, keep in mind that this is not going to be mechanically related to the regular Escalade in any way, shape, or form. It's also not going to replace the regular Escalade. This is going to be a totally new, separate product built on GM's Ultium electric platform.
But let's go ahead and break down the individual elements of this rendering. As you can see up here in the front, we are expecting a kind of Lyric-ish look to it. It's a mix between Lyric, Celestiq, all of those new Cadillac EVs coming into the big boxy Escalade. So of course you're going to have a giant grille as you would on any Escalade model, but it's going to be sealed off, and you're going to have a lot of really cool lighting elements. I'd be very surprised to see anything other than what we've seen on the Lyric with all those cool animations and stuff. Sure. That's definitely going to be here on the Escalade IQ.
Essentially, we're predicting that they're going to substitute in some of the traditional blingy chrome for lighting elements. So you have that light up effect, a different form of bling, basically.
Yeah, and then coming around to the side, I think we're also going to see some really large wheels. We've seen the giant wheels on the Silverado EV, so I'd say we might even have 23 or 24-inch options for the Escalade IQ. That would be a really cool thing. Your charge port's going to be here on the side, and you're also going to have the flush mount door handles.
Let's talk a second about the charge port. Of course, General Motors has just signed on to bring that Tesla charger basically to their upcoming EVs after, I believe, next year. Just wanted to point that out if you haven't been following the news. The CCS is kind of on its way out and being replaced by the North American charging standard.
And then here is what we think the rear design could look like. Thanks to Kalesa.ru for giving us these renderings and helping us to kind of visualize what could be for this Escalade IQ. But I think this is very spot on with what the spy shots kind of show off of the sloping off roof design. It's very evident to me that it's not just going to be a straight box straight down. So you're going to have a little bit of a sloping rear window here, and we see that drawn up on this rendering. Although I think they might make it maybe a little bit more square in terms of the design instead of just like more lyric like this.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to execute the taillights. I'm not sure I'm the fondest of this design, just kind of taken from the lyric and put onto the Escalade. Escalade needs a little bit chunkier elements, I think, so it would really serve this design a little bit better if we use probably kind of a more squared off tail light, maybe more vertical, so that it actually draws that connection to the traditional gas-powered Escalade that people have learned to expect over the years.
Yeah, but let us know what you think of these renderings down in the comments section below. Do you like the way this potentially rendered Escalade IQ looks? I think I like the front end. The rear end I'm a little not sold on.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you on that type of design. Now on to the interior. Now, of course, it's hard to get a spy shot of an interior cabin, and this is pretty much the only thing that we're going to have here is this kind of zoomed in picture of the window. It's a little hard to extrapolate much details from this, but it does appear like we have a full-length screen going across the entire dashboard, which would not surprise me because guess what? We have the Cadillac Celestiq interior here that has the full screen going across the entire cabin. So I would not be surprised at all if they added the full screen setup on the Escalade, made it go all the way across, give you that really impressive technological feel, especially for the IQ Escalade.
Yeah, if not the whole thing, at least the one from the Lyric, which is 38 inches of just like pure screen. It doesn't have any division, like the Escalade does currently. The only other two things that we can find here in this spy shot, giant speaker grill from the AKG audio system. So this will have a thumping AKG audio system with a lot of speakers. Everyone loves that in the Escalade. Also can see that this has the Super Cruise steering wheel. So you got that sensor right there. Obviously, you would expect that this would come with Super Cruise.
But what do we expect the powertrain will look like for this all-new Escalade IQ? Well, we can kind of extrapolate some other GM products that are coming out with electrical components. We think it's going to be most similar to the GMC Hummer EV SUV. If you're curious as to what that is, that's going to be a 170 kilowatt hour battery. That gives it a range of 314 miles. Also coming out is the Silverado EV. That has a 200 kilowatt hour battery, can go an estimated 450 miles of range. So I think we're going to see something kind of in between those figures, maybe like 185 kilowatt hour battery, maybe mid 300 mile range. If they're really pushing it, they might be able to get it to 400 miles, but it is a big 3-row SUV, so I'd kind of be surprised to have something this large be able to go that far on a charge.
The Hummer EV weighs, well, I was going to say a ton, but that's actually way inadequate.
Yeah,
many tons.
Way more than that. But you can also expect that it's going to have a lot of horsepower. The Hummer EV SUV has 830 horsepower, goes 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. So I'd say we'll see very similar figures in the Escalade, if not even better or more. So yeah, I think that this Escalade IQ will actually be faster to 60 than the Escalade V.
There's a good chance for sure. So we also want to estimate pricing. Obviously, we don't have anything official, but we do know what the regular Escalade costs today, quite a bit. $84,000 roughly to
starting
out.
Point, yeah.
Goes up to $120,000 roughly for the regular Escalade. Tap into the V, you're going to go to $150,000.
This thing ain't cheap, y'all.
No, definitely not. And wouldn't expect the IQ to be any different. Now, where it's going to land is going to depend on if Cadillac decides to offer a lot of trim levels of this, or if they decide to keep it on the upper end. So if they keep it on the upper end and say, after you've gone through most of the gas models, now you have this additional choice, well then, there you go. It's going to be about $130,000 and up. if they offer some trim levels, we might be able to get closer to the price point of a very affordable $100,000.
Yeah, I'm hoping for the latter. I'm hoping that they offer the different trim levels for those of you who want maybe a base Escalade IQ. You could cross shop it with a maybe a more loaded up gas model, but for those of you who want the electrified componentry, I would hope that they wouldn't just immediately make it like 130 grand, but I'd say it is also possible that they will do that. Now, availability, when can you expect to get one of these Escalade IQs? Well, the full unveil is coming later this year, and I wouldn't expect being able to like drive it media wise until mid next year, and then I really wouldn't expect consumers to get it a bunch of deliveries until about fall of 2024 as a 2025 model year vehicle. So this is definitely not going to be one of those cars that's going to be shown off and probably just immediately shown into customers' hands.
No, that's probably being optimistic, to be honest, the way things have been going with the General Motors EVs rolling out pretty slowly. It could be even longer than that. We'll just have to wait and see.
Well, guys, we want to know your thoughts about this Escalade IQ down in the comments below. Do you like the way this looks? Do you agree with our suspicions on what's going to happen with this production model? And would you buy one when it comes for sale later this year? Please let us know all those things down below.
Now, of course, if you're not subscribed already, we'd really appreciate if you'd go ahead and go to our channel and click subscribe. Of course, if you're already a subscriber, we really appreciate your continued support. Another thing I want to mention is that the future Escalade IQ would probably be a very quiet model. And speaking of that, we do have sound level readings on our website. A lot of you guys may not know we have a website, and it has lots of interesting things on it, but a lot of people have been requesting the sound level readings to be added to the website. So you can hop on the website now and see sound level readings by segment, and compare and contrast, put them in order, see what is the best option for you.
And that's where we're going to leave off today's video. Thanks so much for tuning in, and thank you for the continued support. We'll see you next time.